The man charged for killing a Houston area real estate agent in downtown Dallas last month was in court today hoping to get his $500,000 bond reduced.
Fox 4's Alex Boyer was in court today and has more on the judge's decision and joins us live. Alex.
Hey guys, I sat in on that hearing and it lasted nearly 2 hours. You know, the defense was trying to get that $500,000 bond reduced, calling it excessive for a non-capital murder case. After hearing all of the evidence, the judge ultimately upheld it. Surveillance video played inside a Dallas County courtroom Wednesday shows how a deadly shootout on the streets of downtown Dallas unfolded back on April 5th. It was presented by the prosecution as part of a bond reduction hearing for murder suspect 34-year-old Kendrick Finch.
He was the first one to step out with a gun.
That's prosecutor Jason Hermes referring to Finch. In the video, you see 28-year-old Ashley Long and her friend 36-year-old William Kistler walking on Main Street as a Mercedes drives by. Kistler brushes the car with his hand. The Mercedes stops. Almost immediately, Kistler can be seen trying to retrieve a handgun out of Long's purse when Finch steps out of the car with a gun in his hand. The lead homicide detective was the state's only witness.
I can tell you Mr. Finch's gun was pointed in Mr. Kistler and Miss Long's direction, and she had started to fall prior to what appears to be Mr. Kistler directing his gun at Mr. Finch. So to go out on an assumption, I would assume that Mr. Finch fired first.
The defense asked for the hearing trying to get Finch's $500,000 bond reduced. Josh Healy claims the video shows Finch fired in self-defense.
He's fighting around trying to get that gun and finally gets it, goes like this towards my client. And when he takes those steps towards my client has every right under the law to defend himself.
Long, a realtor visiting from southeast Texas, was shot twice and later died. Kistler was hit once and survived. In the video, you see him try to move her to the sidewalk. The prosecution argued Finch is a risk to the community and asked for the bond to be upheld.
He fired that gun at least 8 times in a crowded residential commercial street with cars and people walking all around.
The judge, having heard all the evidence, ultimately agreed.
The writ is denied. The bond remains at $500,000.
And I can tell you that families from both sides packed that courtroom today. They declined to speak to us after the hearing. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Finch remains here in the Dallas County Jail on that $500,000 bond. Back to you.
All right, Alex Boyer, thank you. Investigators say DNA evidence led them to a sexual assault suspect. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. 32-year-old Alex Suarez is charged with sexual assault. Police say he broke into a family's apartment early in the morning, sneaked through the window, and assaulted a mother. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is live tonight with more. Peyton.
Steve, and we spoke with that victim off camera today. She told me that she is still scared to sleep in her apartment, and she is scared for the safety of her family. Her teenage daughter was the one to notice the suspect, a stranger, inside the apartment. The victim then pleaded with the suspect not to hurt her kids. Surveillance video shows the moment a man in a black mask walked out of an apartment in the early morning hours of April 25th, leaving a woman and her 2 teenage children traumatized. It happened at a complex near Park Lane and Webb Chapel Road. Dallas police say 32-year-old Alex Suarez snuck into the victim's apartment through an open window around 6:30 a.m. According to an arrest affidavit, after the victim's daughter alerted her there was an intruder, the victim saw the unknown suspect crouched down in the kitchen area. Suarez forced the woman to have sex as her daughters hid in a nearby bedroom. At some point, the woman noticed a man walking by her apartment and told the suspect that was her cousin, causing the suspect to stop the assault, and Suarez left. DNA evidence detectives were able to obtain later came back matching Suarez. Meanwhile, Dallas police collected multiple surveillance videos of Suarez and released these stills to the public. Tuesday, a Dallas police officer noticed Suarez get off a DART bus at Skillman Street and Larmonda Street. Officers tried to stop Suarez off Melody Lane, but he took off running. During the foot chase, police say 2 officers deployed their tasers. One struck Suarez, who was taken into custody and booked into the Dallas County Jail. It's not Suarez's first accusation of sexual crimes. Online records show Suarez took a plea deal in January after police say he exposed himself last August outside the Bachman Rec Center. Rec Center staff told police there were children in the building at the time. Suarez's criminal history in Dallas County dates back to 2012, including drug charges and assault, family violence.
And Dallas police believe Suarez is connected to another sexual assault that took place in late April last month. Dallas police still investigating that case. They tell us that it was a case out of the Lake Highlands area at an apartment complex. His bond right now, the Dallas County Jail is set at $100,000. Steve?
All right, Peyton Yeager. Thank you, Peyton.
Family members of the man allegedly killed by a now on-the-run murder suspect are questioning why he was on house arrest ahead of his murder trial. Investigators still searching tonight for Trevor McEwen. Police say he cut off his ankle monitor early Monday morning, just hours before his murder trial was set to begin. He was on house arrest even after violating the terms of his original bond. Fox 4's David Sintendry, and now with more. David.
Well, Trevor McEwen's bond was actually significantly higher than most bonds we see for capital murder. Still, he managed to escape, and now people are just wondering where he's at and who might be helping him.
Frustrated. There's no justice. They can't sleep.
Family and friends of Aaron Martinez expressing how they feel while the 35-year-old's alleged killer, Trevor McEwen, is on the run.
We really need him caught. Everybody is scared. The family is scared.
In 2023, McEwen allegedly shot and killed Martinez, his neighbor, during an ongoing dispute. Monday morning, McEwen reportedly cut his ankle monitor and fled hours before jury selection in his capital murder trial. Federal, state, and local authorities continue searching. Authorities have not provided public updates on the search.
If it were your son, you want an explanation.
On Monday, however, the Kaufman County Sheriff expressed frustrations.
I mean, he's already proven to us that he'll violate conditions of bonds, but they still allowed him to have a bond. And, you know, law enforcement gets frustrated over stuff like this, and we've spent a lot of time and effort on this individual.
Last September, McEwen posted a $2.25 million bond, but was arrested a week later for violating that bond, allegedly posting social media threats. 3 months later, in December, McEwen posted another $2 million bond. McEwen's bonds are higher than most, according to one former prosecutor who spoke with Fox 4. But the governor is hoping the state legislature can make it even tougher for certain people to bond out.
This is a public safety issue, plain and simple.
Governor Greg Abbott held a round-table discussion centered around bail reform Wednesday. Abbott wants lawmakers to amend the Texas Constitution, requiring approval of 2/3 of State House and Senate members to, in part, restrict bail for those accused of certain violent crimes.
Judges must automatically deny bail for violent crimes like murder, rape, and human trafficking unless there is clear and convincing evidence that the defendant will appear in court and not endanger the community.
Now that McEwen appears to have escaped, loved ones of Martinez wonder where he is or what he might do next.
You know, they are scared. They have children.
So you saw we have been in contact with the Kaufman County Sheriff. We've also been trying to reach out, however, to the district attorney and the judge that is overseeing this case here in Kaufman County, but at this point in time, we have not heard back from either. Heather, Steve, back to y'all.
All right, David Sintendry, thank you.
Day 2 of the Papal conclave saw more black smoke coming out of the Sistine Chapel chimney this morning.
That means no pope's been selected on the second and third round of ballots. Dan Godwin here with the very latest. Dan?
Yes, Lauren, the wait continues. Whoever will be the next pope needs to secure a 2/3 vote of the 133 cardinals who are casting ballots in this process. Here's a live look at the Vatican and St. Peter's Square. The color of the smoke from the famous chimney on the roof of the Sistine Chapel will tell us whether or not there's a new leader for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. A little before 5 a.m. our time this morning, that's just before noon in Rome, black smoke could be seen pouring from the chimney, meaning whoever will be the successor to Pope Francis has not yet been selected. But With each vote of the cardinals, they presumably move closer to the one that will be the next pope. There's talk that for the first time ever, the next pope may be from Africa or Asia. One Vatican observer here in North Texas weighed in on that prospect.
I think, number one, what is the good of the church? I don't care who he is. I don't care what his background is. But it would be beautiful in that sense that if we have an African, if we have an Asian cardinal who is a great promoter of the love of God and the truth of his fidelity to the world, that's wonderful.
Professor Christopher Malloy also says he is expecting the cardinals to choose a pope who is over 70 years old. He says it's rare for the conclave to select a pontiff who is among the younger cardinals unless that person is deemed to be an extraordinary leader and can garner the necessary votes. Many people in this country wonder about the possibility of an American cardinal being selected. Professor Malloy says that is not likely, as many church leaders and others already see the U.S. church as having outsized influence on the direction of modern Catholicism. 2 more votes will be held today in Rome. The earliest we could see smoke again from the chapel chimney, 10:30 a.m. our time. Dan Godwin on Good Day.